Some people ask this question, why in the world do we pray before we eat? Well, I think that you'll find a little insight here in John 6:33. They did eat bread often, that the Lord had given thanks. So he's saying that Jesus prayed over the bread they ate. You know, the order is gratefulness first. Now, if you've never gone hungry, if you've never gone without food for a period of time, and food is provided because you prayed with gratefulness and sincerity. See, when you pray for food, when you don't have any, this happened to us at different times, and God provided it, you have a real sense of gratefulness. But when you eat all the time, sometimes you just do the prayer, you don't think about it, we just pray because we're Christians. But we need to remember there's people all over the world right now that have little or nothing to eat. And they would be so grateful for something to eat. Well, I was thinking, how can I, if we eat regularly 3 meals a day and snacks, how can we apply this truth to our family? Well, I thought of this. Maybe you've done it, maybe you haven't. But why not call a day of fasting and prayer for your family? To focus in prayer on the poor, displaced families, all over the world. There are people who had to leave home and everything and have little or nothing to eat. And when I'm sort of hungry, I could really understand. I'm just hungry because I missed a meal or missed 2 meals. But these people maybe haven't eaten much at all. So before you have your day, I would try to gather some information from organizations that their ministry is to the poor around the world. There's Feed the Hungry, Samaritan's Purse, World Vision, Feed the Children. So you can search the web. Obviously, you have a website because you're looking at this. And then you have some information for that day. Maybe focus on a country, help the kids to understand. There's a family I'm aware of, and the kids they have every electronic toy. They point and grunt and they get it. And the dad was seeing that there was a lack of really gratefulness for what they did have. That's in stuff. And so I said, why don't you talk to the kids about these families? We've had a lot of forest fires in the United States, and a lot of families, their whole homes burnt down. All their electric toys, everything these kids had is gone. And to pray for those families where the kids lost everything and ask them how would they feel if our house burnt down, you know, in some type of a lightning strike or something, and we didn't have anything. So when we pray, then we have a specific prayer focus for a country, for a group of people. Let me finish this. When your day is done of focusing on prayer and everything, when you end the fast that evening, if you want to fast 2 meals, but have the meal you're going to eat a simple meal, maybe beans and rice, not a big spread, bread, just the simplest meal you could think of. When I stayed in Guatemala and was in many homes of the Mayan Indians up in the hills and the mountains there, often all they ate, most of the families have a steel 50-gallon drum that they got somewhere. They cut a hole in the bottom, they throw wood in there, and there's a little vent, and the mom makes flour tortillas and throws it on, and they have beans. And the kids don't say, we're going to eat, because they know what they're going to eat. They're going to eat beans and tortillas. Sometimes, though, that country beans is a lot more reasonable, but some of them are able to get rice, and they may have rice and beans. And then every now and then again, they may have a bit of meat in there, you know, with the beans. And the kids are so thrilled It may be a bit of chicken or they're trying to stretch out. But when they do, that's very special to eat. And I saw how grateful they were to the Lord. And I thought of how we have a refrigerator full of food and cupboards with canned goods and all that stuff. And I thought, Lord, help me to be grateful. And, you know, I am sure that when your kids focus, you make a day of focusing on these particular country and the kids that are starving to death or whatever all that you want to do, that when they break their fast and have an idea what it's like to go without a couple meals, their prayer over the meal will be very, very sincere. And we need to be grateful. We've been very blessed in this country, although there's a lot of people in this country that aren't eating well at all. And they're talking about all the children in poverty that, they don't have 3 meals a day. And they don't often have a lot to eat. And they go to a food pantry or someplace like that to try to get food for the family. And we really want our kids. God doesn't owe us anything. And we've been blessed. And maybe the kids would even want to take, if they get some kind of an allowance, to take part of their allowance, save it up, and send it to one of these organizations that's providing food for hungry children. And they'll really feel a part of something if they make a little sacrifice in their part to provide some food for kids in a particular country or a town or whatever. But your family will be blessed, if you're willing to do that.